So I don't really know what the follow through is, Needles. If I'm honest, if I'm totally honest with you guys, I only realized that the relegations were specifically related to global leaderboards last weekend. That was last Sunday, I think. That's when I first actually knew that. I don't know why, but that's I promise is true. Which means, like, it doesn't mean the bottom 4 of 20 will get relegated. It's like the lowest 2 America's players on the global leaderboard and the lowest 2 EU CIS players on the global leaderboard. Those are the people who are up for relegation.
Prepare to fight.
And as far as I understand, the regional leaderboards are more about determining matchups.
3, 2,
And
1.
yeah, and that stuff mainly. Guys, we do have Enesy versus Inns. We are now in a quarter-final. And we're watching Enesy to begin with. We've got a pretty sort of standard matchup here. Galena versus Visor. Excuse me. I think I would like to see... Well, I don't mind the global leaderboard too much. If we get, like, resets season on season, you know what I mean? But it also does feel weird to have the global leaderboard when the regions only clash at LAN. So yeah, I see what you mean there. In's got like a good entry rail, and Enesy couldn't find a way out there. It was a pretty sticky situation for him. He really had to just maximize his damage, because I'm pretty sure his chances of surviving were like sub 5%. In's has actually been playing fairly well lately, so I'm excited to see how he's going to be able to do in this series and moving further forward. Because I feel like he spent, like, I want to say from, like, last year to pretty much, like, August this year, being pretty mediocre and below what he's capable of. But it feels like he's actually been putting in some hours, and his shape's been looking decent. I want to have a look how many points he's got in the overall standings. He's 7th. Like, he's got a decent amount of points. Oh, that fadeaway rocket. Slap bang on his face. I will be casting tomorrow, Profahara. I will be at the Facing Studios. Oh, nice rockets in Enesy. Yeah, you guys should think about going to Lucca for the 2nd and 3rd of November to see some Quake there. Honestly, if we're in the same venue, I'm pretty sure we are. It's honestly majestic. It's so good. It's, I'd say, my favorite venue in Quake. Oh, some missed shotgun blast for a moment, but Inns gets it with 2 health to go. Milo, do the global ranking points keep accumulating past Stage 1 finals? If so, how do guys from challengers who knock people out have any chance of getting near Ra? Milo, I don't know. I really hope it doesn't continue, because in my opinion it would be demotivating for people in challenges who came from challenges, and it kind of puts like no risk for the guy like people like Rafa and Kilson. You kind of just feel immortal at that stage. And for people who are like taking all that time to grind through challenges, which is an intensive process, to go in and then have to have that kind of like cliff face to look at. Yeah, I feel like it's slightly anti-competitive. Ooh, that was an angle for a moment. So my answer is I don't know, but those are my thoughts on like continuing a global leaderboard. Yeah. I'm F2. Let's go that way. Let's put it that way. It's a very, very nice rocket from Enesy. He has got a good chance actually of securing a kill. But Inns is being pretty evasive. Going for the rail shot. Just to hold an angle. Enesy just to hold a rail there would be good to nullify that. Oh, he catches him as he goes down. Rocket's good, and the follow-up is nice. You know what? That's even better. I'd say that's a little bit more of a high-risk play, but still well executed. got overstacked totes. Not... That's a very brave move to push forward like that. I'm very surprised Enesy did this. I think there's a lot of players that would punish that kind of positioning. But Enesy does manage to get away with it. And we've got it tied up. The third QPL, I think it's Milan, but from what that like sort of slightly pixelated picture shows, it looks like Milan. Nice work. And Enesy's just kind of catching into his pants around his ankles at the moment. Seems very straightforward. Even lands a stray bit of damage. I think that was totem based though.
5-minute warning.
So the top two challenge, yeah. So if you play in Lucca and you qualify to QPL, you'll of course be playing the weekly matches on Sunday for the QPL. So there's a nice little split on items for Enesy. Was a bit of a dangerous fight a second ago, but this should allow Enesy to get a good rotation on it. Even taking that rail, he should be able to get a position sooner on this heavy. But if he misses these shots all the time, then it might hurt. Yeah, he's missing a lot, and Inns has been hitting a decent amount. But finally, we get one rail, and that's all that he really needed to land to kind of even things up. Why are you facing? Why does Enesy do this so often? You were railable, and you face these predictive angles? Dude, you can't do that. You just can't do that. And Inns is just so uncomfortable in that position. He even runs away from the mega health. He doesn't have LG himself, so it's very difficult for him to defend in that position. But he should get himself onto heavy. Somehow dodges that rocket. He's going to actually push in. This is really nice work from Inns. I love the discipline. And then turning that fight around. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Enesy stinging after that. The mega doesn't mean a whole lot. Railable. Be careful being railable. Don't pull an Enesy. Oh, that was hot, that rail. I think he realized the heavy's not coming up, so it's time to get out of here, but LG'd into railed. Enesy pushes that. We are tied up at the moment. We've been getting just close game after close game on today's challenges. Christ, these rails, man. I mean, I say it doesn't really impact QuakeCon 2020 at all, because the entire field of players could change by... Not the entire, well, a huge field of players could change by the time we get to QuakeCon 2020. So it's very, very passive. It's like saying, how does the cleanliness of the water in this spring affect the tastiness of the boiled rice that I'm eating, you know? It's an incredibly loose connection. The relegation and promotion games are best of 5, yeah, that's pretty cool. Very, very cool. I think that'd have to be. I think anything less than best of 5 would be it would just be too intense, I think. I mean, it's still going to be incredibly intense, but I think it's like you travel all that way for a relegation or promotion game, and then only the best of 3 decides it. You definitely need a best of 5 to determine worthiness in that stage. Oh, up the bounce pad. Gets a direct, but Inns then rockets himself. Ouch. Okay, we're 7-7. And he's kind of lacking weapons at the moment. Doesn't really want to be in a fight. He'd love to land a rocket. Somehow actually gets himself Mega from that. Enesy was there the entire time. And is going to get himself another weapon. And I would take my time a little bit if I were him. No LG is a little bit scary. So Sai knows exactly where he is. Enesy's dodge has been flawless, actually. Apart from that last bit. Dude, he's railable! Why do you guys keep doing that? My god, it's like... It just makes it anticlimactic. You're not, like, being pressured so hard. It's not like they have to go out of their way to do these crazy... Somehow we're... I do not know how any of this makes any sense at all. Enesy just kind of took the beatdown and walked into the beatdown. Don't understand. Slightly upset by that. I just don't understand, like, the last 3 fights. I have no understanding of what happened. Just chaotic. You know, you get these, like, little mini reads and things like that. But, you drink up that one and say it in the morning. Yeah, that was unnecessary. I don't think Molten Falls, particularly a game between these two champions, should be that high a fragging game. I don't remember who was supposed to win either. What a weird game. Okay, this one should be funny, though. This one will be really funny, because we've got Blood Run, and we've got Eisen versus Scalebearer, which has turned into, like, a super interesting matchup because of Bull Rush blocking turrets and Bull Rush anyway. I'm not even sure, Halsey. I'm not even sure. It was a very messy... I feel like Inns was playing better at the beginning of the game. For like the first half, maybe. And Enesy was stepping it up. And then kind of like a sort of black hole of nothingness appeared in my mind. He's Russian, so he is definitely going to love this map hard. I can tell you whose map is what. This, indeed, yeah. Unless he did pick Molten. Inns picked Thingy. Blood Run. If we get to Ruins, we have got Anarchy versus Sorlag, by the way. So that's some spicy meatballs there, too.
Prepare to fight.
What did it? Did I get... It was Inns that won the first map, right? I'm not going crazy here.
2,
1. I genuinely don't even remember what happened in that last map. The ending was just so weird. Gonna start with Inns because he's Scale, man. Why wouldn't you start with Scale? You can't miss rails on Scale. Don't do it. Boom. That's it. That's the ticket right there. You can't rush into Scale like that. If you've done not much entry damage, you have to do crap loads of entry damage before you can do something like that. And you've got to have half a stack. A little bit sketchy here. Don't know how Enesy's missing these rails, if I'm honest. It's very unlike Enesy to miss rails on a target the size of Monaco. There we go, that elf is more like it. Not much there. Oh, well, actually, tell a lie. He could have bull rushed out and through the teleporter. But he would have had to have done that before he realized Enesy was rushing. Uh-oh. Oh, did the turret block him there? There we go. He's landing his shots now. The only way into Pro League is through challenges. Indeed. I can't remember the last time... Oh... No, because we've never had like a Pro League in Quake, so... There's been like qualifiers to an event, but never to like a Pro League, because we've never had a Pro League. Was it a BYO? I don't even know if it was BYOC. I'm not sure. Maybe at some QuakeCon or DreamHack Winter we've had something like that. Oh, he can't get himself onto Mega Health. Again, overcommitting to these angles is like these super high-risk plays. Perfect rockets. I feel like In's overall's been playing a little more sensibly, but Enesy's kind of this all-in player. QuakeCon 27 Vu came second. Did he? Did he really? I thought no, Vu qualified from the regionals. I'm pretty sure. And he just came second in the main tournament. Yeah, I think it was DreamHack Winter 2017. There was a BYOC qualifier for like one sacrifice team and like 2 duelers. I'm 95% sure Vu qualified from Leicester. Maybe you're right. I want to check Wikipedia. Oh my god. The bloody Tribolt. Do I think Sparty would even compete in challenge if he loses the relegation match, or would he do? I don't know actually. I really don't know. I was thinking about this not too long ago. Nice work, Ins. Again, Enesy is going for these aggressive moves when he kind of knows roughly where Ins is. What I would expect, I think, is maybe Sparty to sort of take a break season 2, and maybe we'll see him like season 3, playing challenges. I think that's what I think could happen. But again, you know, wild speculations. Because Vu qualified anyway to QuakeCon 2017 through sacrifice, because he was in Maestro, wasn't he? Oh my god! Ooh, that was a lot of LG. It's working now, these pushes, but it's still very, very dangerous. Again, I'm very surprised to see, like, such an active blood run. I've had, like, 2 of the slowest maps in the pool, and they've both been pretty high fragging. Hopefully soon. I'm gonna check the brackets quickly. Cypher's moving on to play Kareem. And the winner of this game is probably going to play versus Cypher. You're playing in 10 minutes, Kareem. Okay, so Enesy just walked into death. Jesus Christ. I'm finding this duel so weird, guys. I feel like this is... It's almost like some kind of aim practice going on. That was pretty nuts, actually. And finally, Enesy's like, right, I'll back away for a second. Thanks for bull rushing me to the stars. No. He's gonna have another go at it. I'm like, can't do this anymore. I'm so done. I'm so done with this game. I actually like both of these players a lot. I just don't know what's going on. It's like they're both thinking, do you want to play Cypher? Not really. Do you? Nah. I mean, there's some fun fights in here and stuff, but it's very hard to break down what's going on because there's a lot of things happening that shouldn't be happening. Yeah, Eisenscale is a bit wonky doodle dee. I like the way you put it.
I will lead the way.
Like I just love the I just love the voice. I will lead the way. Just runs into a wall. All right, I guess we got another map, guys.
Warning.
All right, we got an Anarchy versus Sorlag. This is gonna be deliberately chaotic, but I think it's gonna make more sense in its chaos. Whew. Inns likes playing scale. I thought he was... I think he underperformed a little bit. But he's saying like GG Kovac trainer or something like that. And I'm like, you're scale. Like, my mother can hit you with 50% LG. And she's never played an FPS game in her life. I'm so ready, guys. Go, go, go. Anarchy versus Sorlag. I often find this a kind of a battle of movement. If you have like two players who are pretty good on these types of champions, I think some people maybe underestimate a little bit about. Obviously, size matters in aiming, but size really matters in movement. And I think it's overlooked a little bit. Like, you feel it hard. When you're playing a champion and you're playing a heavy champion, you feel that movement's blocking you a bit. But then when you've got these champions who are both so mobile, you're more likely to accidentally hit those corners and walls and stuff if you are a Sorlag. And those can be the differences between staying alive and dying, or making an item rotation in time, or setting up that position that you need in order to make a fight. Oh, another rail. I think it's very greedy for Enesy to want to continue the fight there. I don't dislike the fact that, even though I think Inz's accuracy could really have been a lot better, I don't hate the fact that he stuck around for it. I think it was worth it. Really, really good work from Inz. Really good work. But again, this is a very strange champion for me to see Inz play. I just feel like him and a lot of the other decent Russian duelers, I always feel like these are kind of like VQ3 experts. Really good predictive work. Realizes he's reliable, gets out of there. Goes in for the LG. And he knows he doesn't have to do too much damage. So at that point, I think that's worth the risk. I know I've been flaming Enesy a bit for moving into angles when he's reliable. But this is a light champion. Who's... It's high-ish risk, but there was a decent enough reward. Unfortunately for him, he gets his ass kicked super hard in the following fight, which, yeah, kind of nullifies the rest of it. Now it would have been worth not going into that fight had he known the fight after would happen, because Enesy would have stayed out of control. So, meh. Let's go over to Enesy, who's super stacked. Dude, these rails. Again, he doesn't realize that Inz is pushing forward. But in those instances, you've kind of got to move out the room with rockets. Unless you know categorically 100% that your opponent is at that like light armor. Then you go out with a mid-range weapon. And you maybe even spam out a shot first, then go for the rail. Because you can kind of like zone your opponent to move a certain side, and it can sometimes help a teeny tiny bit or enough for you to secure that shot. Oh, that was a nice one from Enesy. Now he should follow up for kills here. Gets rail straight away. Blip of damage. Or Inz misses everything, tries to get out, but Enesy had already pushed quite far. So at that point there, it's fine to push out with rail, because you know the guy's just spawned and there's no possible way that he could be up at the top part of the stairs, or halfway up the stairs even. If you've got something like audio cues or spawns that can make you make decisions like that, great. If you don't go out of the rail and shoot it first. Or take that extra, you know, quarter of a second to switch away from it before shooting. And this is coming back in this very quickly though. And this can kind of happen with an Anarchy game. You can get like this mad advantage going, but you can lose that advantage just as quick as you gained it. Just because you're pretty fickle, and if you can't get control, life can be difficult. And it's not like you can just like run away from Sorlak very easily, because Sorlak's just as mobile as you. Woo, that hurt. With rail ends, all you need is a rail. Oh, that was a pretty tasty rocket. Beautifully done from Inz. And as he's just been waiting for this light armor to come up, he's only been sort of connect to Mega in this part of the map for a while now. This rail really, really hurts. He really shouldn't be showing himself. And I love the fact that Inz stuck around for that. He knows he's got items to stack up with afterwards. So that was a safe play for him. He needs that. Oh, he needed to dodge to the left as hard as possible so that he could get his injection up. That's the only way he survives reliably there. You've got to have that urgency in the dodge, but we've got another push here. And the LG is victorious. Oh shit. Sorry guys. Good dodge. First rocket. Not hitting anything. Oh, he misses the mid-air, and I think that was his last rocket then. Oh, Ins hit like a truck just then. Again, these weird fights to go in, you can't commit to this stuff until you have like great certainty of, you know, you can win that fight. But you just got to get out there, Ins. Not worth it at all. So hit like an entry rail. Hit better than entry rail. Hit an entry rocket and then move into the fight a little bit. If you're just taking damage and gradually walking forward, you're not making it harder for them to hit you. Poink. Again, I just don't like what I'm seeing from Enesy at the moment. Because we've got Mega coming up 5 seconds after that kill happened. So if Ins took a lot of damage, he's going to be able to recover. Oh, he needs health. Oh my god, he's going to die! He messed up his movement a little bit because he could have got down there in time. But he did that extra jump on the, what, like the T-panel thing? It's given some hope to Enesy. Alright, I'm expecting Enesy to come back now with this control. One rail's not enough to kind of put him off. Look, moving in with that LG. I mean, that's going to hurt a lot, right? Doesn't matter who you are, that stings. A little bit early for heavy. 10 seconds early. Which I don't like to see, but at the same time, it doesn't matter too much right now. The only thing is he's kind of losing intel or opportunity to do damage on Ins. And allowing Ins to kind of pick up weapons that he may want around the map. Perfect rocket. Follow. This should be an easy kill. Love the closer from him. A little bit early. I like this push on towards the rail. A bit of zone out. Okay, that was good from Enesy. Really, really good. He might be able to take the lead in the moment. I'd expect him to take the lead very soon. But Ins is finally hitting some unreturned damage. But why, Enesy? You know these angles are fully open. Just put no way. These games have just been about pushing. Like, these players have been giving birth like through the entire series. This one I feel is like the most sensible map that we've seen so far. Yeah, Enesy, time to leave. You're a big target for that. 30 seconds? Oh, dude, this is actually a nightmare for Enesy. Because you'd almost want to, like, die and start again, but it's 30 seconds to get all those kills. Information's been found out from Ins. Gets a nice bit of entry damage. Has to get out now completely, but the rail hits. We have got injection. Ins is just looking to escape. And it's only LG. Is he going to guess correctly? Hopes that he's down here. It's not the case. Ins is going to end up winning out on this. He plays it smart right at the end. Enesy's just like he's just this wildcard player, man. He's totally, totally mad. He's really fun to watch, but he needs to watch his games back to understand like what he's doing, because there's some very unusual players. Right, let's see if we can jump onto the Cypher game, because that one should be going on at the moment, but they could be in-game, which means we might have to wait a bit. And CNZ and Silencer look like they'll be starting soon. And that is a really fun game, but I really want to make sure we get Cypher versus Ins. Oh, it's a toughie. Appear. Oh, sweet.